come on, come on. Come on, and... Yes, thank God. I can finally get some freaking work done. And... yeah. Finally, I can get some freaking work done. It's high time you've gotten off your ass and do some work, don't you think? It is I, your Blu-ray shelf, and I am here to place you under internet arrest. What exactly is internet arrest? Hey, you, less talking, more listening, okay? I'm the shelf, I talk. I'm the shelf, I talk. You the boy, you listen. Shelf talk, you listen. Capiche? Capiche, okay. Okay. Yes, you are under arrest for starting a YouTube channel and discarding it like so many have before you. So, I'm afraid I have no other option but to sentence you to reviewing movies. For life. How fun! For life, reviewing movies for life. Oh God. Oh God. Oh, I'm going now. Wait, I have to review movies for life? Like, all the time? I mean, I have so much time to waste. I can't waste time not wasting time. That just is a waste of time. I can't review movies forever. I mean, what am I gonna do? Like, review a movie or something? Oh, yeah, I can review a movie. I'm not really doing anything. Haven't done anything in a while, actually. Okay, no big deal. Oh, I gotta do it now? Horror movies used to pride themselves on practical effects. I mean, even the more tame movies like Poltergeist had scenes that still give me nightmares. That scene will never, ever, ever leave my mind. But I think horror fans in general all agree that the crowning jewel of practical effects in horror movies is John Carpenter's The Thing. So when I heard about this small movie called The Void that was priding itself on practical effects mimicking John Carpenter's The Thing, I was very intrigued. And when I looked up more about it, I learned that it was very Lovecraftian, based on a lot of H.P. Lovecraft type stuff, and I'm a huge fan of that, so I was even more intrigued. So I had to check this movie out. And all the reviews it was getting were amazing, saying that it totally lived up, and well, did it live up? Yes and no. The movie begins when a cop finds an injured man, and wanting to take him to a hospital to get him to safety, he reluctantly has to take him to the only hospital nearby, which just underwent a giant fire. So needless to say, the hospital is pretty much all but abandoned and currently going through relocation. So there's only a small staff there and a few patients as well. However, the movie quickly escalates as two men enter the hospital to kill the injured men, and a large group of quote cult members surround the hospital. This is where the movie both succeeds and fails, because a lot of the movie is left up to you, the viewer. Just like the characters, we have no idea what's going on. So when things start hitting the fan, it's left to you to figure out what's going on and try to interpret it yourself. What's good about this is it's really creepy and fun to not quite have a grasp of what's going on. Every second, something could happen and you're not quite sure where it's going to go. However, in order to keep a movie like this entertaining for everyone, you have to have something to grab onto, something to keep your attention throughout the movie. If you're not going to know what's going on, what's going to keep your attention? Well, luckily, that's where the practical effects come in. There are tentacles everywhere in this movie. Literally tentacles coming out of mouths, tentacles coming out of walls, tentacles coming everywhere. This movie is a tentacle nightmare. And every time a practical effects creature pops up on screen or is anywhere in this movie, you're gonna have the urge to pause it and just stare at it, because it is the most creepy and disturbing stuff, but it's also beautiful at the same time. It really goes to show you that there's nothing like practical effects, and if this movie was CGI, it wouldn't have near the impact it does. However, unfortunately, where this movie suffers is with the characters. All the acting's great, minus probably one person in this movie that I could have done a little bit without, but you know, you get what you get. But for a movie like this, all the acting is definitely sufficient. You know, you got good enough actors to get through the scenes. However, since the director doesn't want you to know really what's going on, you're not given very many moments to actually care for the characters. There's a few story arcs, like the cop and his maybe ex-wife who are going through a personal tragedy, but when the movie really asks you to care about these characters when certain things happen, you're kind of like, I mean, I guess, but it's not really grabbing you that way. However, this movie is definitely more about imagery than characters and story. If you're coming into this movie wanting to see creepy cult imagery and just creepy imagery in general, you're gonna get it. Like, you'll probably never look at a triangle the same way again. Lots of just creepy, disturbing scenes, and no doubt it will be a cult classic, no pun intended. I would say just don't go in this movie expecting everything to be explained to you. The movie leaves a lot of it up for interpretation, and while you can see what's going on, the story itself is not quite anything but hollow. I mean, it's just an okay story, but it's really elevated by those Lovecraftian vibes. Everything about that just delivers so hard. All the imagery and all the Lovecraftian feel, if you're a fan of any of that kind of stuff, you're definitely going to enjoy this movie. Just, I wouldn't say the story is all that great. In the end, though, this movie is a really fun movie. It's one of the better movies I've watched this year, and it definitely is one of the better horror movies I've seen. Especially considering all the stuff we get coming to theaters. It's kind of a shame that this movie had only a VOD and small release, because it should be seen by a lot more people. And in the end, I would give this movie an 8 out of 10. For sure. If you're at all into practical effects, you owe it to yourself to watch this film. In fact, I'll be rewatching it as soon as I can get my hands on the Blu-ray, and I think a lot of people are really going to enjoy it, so you should definitely check it out. So I haven't made a video in a while, and that's because the camera I was using, I was borrowing, and luckily right now, I just got my own camera. So I should be making a lot more videos, and I hope to be doing kind of different things. This video will be the first in a series I'm doing called You Might Have Missed. You Might Have Missed, I feel like it's going to be a series all about, you know, smaller movies that may have only got released to VOD or didn't get a big theatrical release but I think deserve to be talked about, or maybe even things that came out a long time ago that I just now saw that I think you should hear about. So look forward to that. I also plan on doing new release movies as well still, and yeah, like always, if you like what you saw here today, don't forget to subscribe and like that video, and thank you for watching.